My girlfriend wanted a break. But really she cheated. Now she wants me back. What would you do if the person you trusted most, the one you built your days and your dreams around, suddenly told you they needed a break? Only for you to realize later that this wasn't about self-discovery at all, but about betrayal. What would you do if, after 5 years of building a life with someone, sharing rent, meals, holidays, and dreams, they suddenly told you they needed a break to find themselves? And then you learned that the so-called break was just a mask for betrayal? That's the story of how I lost my relationship, my trust, and eventually gained something I never expected: freedom. For 5 years, Chloe and I were partners in everything. We met in college, when we were both juggling classes and part-time jobs. She worked behind the counter at the library cafe. I stacked books and reshelved late returns. We bumped into each other constantly, trading sarcastic comments, laughing at tired students who ordered bizarre drinks as if the cafe were Starbucks, and helping each other study for finals. It wasn't fireworks at first sight. It was something slower, warmer. She made me laugh. I made her feel steady, or at least that's what she said. Within months, we were inseparable. By graduation, we had decided to move in together. Our first apartment was tiny, creaky floors, leaky faucets, a landlord who never answered emails. But it was ours. We painted the walls ourselves, hung string lights in the living room, and framed cheap posters like they were fine art. We fought over dishes and learned how to compromise. We cooked pasta 5 nights a week because it was all we could afford, and celebrated small victories. Her getting promoted at work, me landing an internship. People looked at us and saw a future. Marriage, maybe kids, a house someday. I believed in that future with all my heart. For years, Chloe was my person. We had little routines: Saturday morning pancakes, Friday night takeout, Sunday cleaning marathons with music blasting. She filled our calendar with social events. I balanced it with quiet nights in. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. So when, 8 months ago, she sat me down at the kitchen table, I didn't see it coming. She twisted her hands together, eyes fixed on the tablecloth. Finally, she said, "I think I need a break." The words rang in my ears. A break? From me? From us? I asked what she meant. She said she felt like she had lost herself in the relationship, that she needed space to find out who she was outside of us. I suggested therapy, either together or separately. She shook her head. "I need to do this alone." I pressed. Did she want to see other people? She avoided my eyes and muttered, "I don't know." Reluctantly, I agreed. But I was clear. A break didn't mean permission to cheat. She nodded vaguely, not with conviction, but with avoidance. The following weeks were torture. She moved into her sister's place, leaving the apartment half empty and eerily silent. We kept in touch through occasional texts and awkward weekly phone calls. She claimed she was journaling, spending time with her sister, rediscovering herself. But doubt crept in. One evening, Alex, a mutual friend, called. He sounded uneasy. "I don't know if I should tell you this, but I saw Chloe at a bar. With a guy. It didn't look like just friends." I wanted to believe he was mistaken. But soon, other signs appeared. Our shared Netflix account filled with shows I'd never touch, but I knew her coworker Ben adored. Friends casually mentioned her car parked in a neighborhood far from her sister's. On the phone, she spoke of quiet weekends at her sister's, too casually, too rehearsed. The puzzle pieces fit together in a way I couldn't ignore. 2 weeks later, I confronted her. "Are you seeing someone else?" She recoiled. "How dare you accuse me? This break is about me, not anyone else." I stayed calm. "Alex saw you at a bar. Your car isn't at your sister's. And I know who watches those shows. Is it Ben?" Her face went pale. She stumbled through excuses. "We're just friends." Alex misinterpreted, but her eyes gave her away. Finally, she broke. She admitted it. She had been seeing Ben. First coffee, then visits at his apartment. Within weeks, they were physical. I felt the floor drop out from under me. She cried, begged me to understand. She claimed she felt lonely, that I had been distant, that Ben made her feel alive. She swore it wasn't planned, that she still loved me, that she hadn't wanted to hurt me. I listened in silence. Then I told her it was over. Final, non-negotiable. Her reaction spiraled. She sobbed, clutched my arm, then lashed out. "You pushed me away. You made me invisible. This is your fault too." I didn't argue. I repeated, "It's over." She stayed 2 weeks to collect her things. Her sister helped her move. When she was gone, I changed the locks. The months after were brutal. Nights stretched long, filled with silence and memories I couldn't shake. I leaned on Susan, my cousin, who never sugarcoated things. She chose him. She chose to betray you. Don't let her choice destroy you too. I took up running again, pounding frustration into the pavement. I reconnected with hobbies, guitar, sketching, late-night gaming sessions with friends. Slowly, painfully, life began to stitch itself back together. Through the grapevine, I heard Chloe moved in with Ben. They posted smiling photos, inside jokes, fake perfection. It stung, but I told myself it was behind me. I thought that chapter was closed. Nearly a year later, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I hesitated, then answered. "Hi, it's me." Chloe's voice cracked. My stomach twisted. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "For everything. I ruined us. I ruined my life. Please, can we talk?" What happens when the person who betrayed you comes back, broken and desperate, begging you to let them in again? Do you open the door out of compassion, or keep it shut to protect your own sanity? It was almost midnight when the unknown number flashed across my screen again. Normally I would have ignored it, but something pushed me to pick up. "Hi, it's Chloe." Her voice was barely recognizable. Thin, trembling, nothing like the confident girl I once knew. Before I could say anything, she launched into a flood of words. Apologies, confessions, regret. She admitted what I already knew, that she had been lying during the break, that Ben wasn't just a friend, that she had betrayed me in the worst way. She said she was sorry for everything. And then came the story of her downfall. When Chloe moved in with Ben, she thought she had stepped into a new chapter. At first, it was intoxicating. Freedom, romance, passion, the thrill of sneaking around turned into permanence. She convinced herself she had made the right choice. But the cracks appeared quickly. Ben became controlling. He wanted to know where she was every moment of the day. He checked her phone, questioned her if she took too long to reply, grew suspicious whenever she spent time with anyone else. He resented her female co-workers, accused her of flirting, even scolded her for posting photos that didn't include him. When she pushed back, he pulled away. He started coming home late, brushing off her questions with vague excuses. Nights stretched longer, and her unease grew. Finally, the truth came out. Ben had been cheating on her with one of his co-workers. Her voice broke as she admitted it to me. "He did the same thing to me that I did to you." The irony almost made me laugh, but I didn't. Instead, I said, "I'm sorry that happened." And I meant it, not out of lingering love, but out of human decency. But she wasn't finished. Her job, already shaky from distractions, started to slip. Missed deadlines. Critical feedback from her boss. More mistakes. Then 6 weeks earlier, she was fired. With rent piling up and Ben telling her to leave. She had no savings, no backup plan. She ended up back on her sister's couch. Unemployed. Broke. Alone. "I've lost everything," she whispered. "And I realize now, I lost the best thing when I lost you. Please, can we start over?" Her words sent a chill down my spine. I took a breath and told her no. Firm. Steady. Final. The silence on the other end was thick. Then she broke into sobs, begging me to reconsider. She promised to change, to go to therapy, to rebuild trust step by step. She promised anything I wanted. When I stayed quiet, her tone shifted from desperate to angry. "You're really heartless," she snapped through tears. 5 years together, and you won't even give me one more chance." I hung up. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. The following week, she tried again. Emails, text messages from random numbers, even flowers delivered to my office with a note that read, "Please don't give up on us." I threw them away. Friends urged me not to cave. Alex reminded me, she made her choice. Don't let her destroy you twice. Susan said it more bluntly. If you open that door once, she'll never leave. Don't do it. I knew they were right. Still, a small, foolish part of me, the part that remembered our inside jokes, the quiet mornings, the feeling of safety, ached. That part whispered, maybe she really changed. But pain isn't proof. And nostalgia isn't love. A month later, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked rough, thinner, paler. Her hair was unkempt, her clothes wrinkled. She tried to smile. "I'm trying. I've been applying to jobs. I started therapy. I'm really trying." I nodded politely but didn't say more. That night, she sent a message. "Thank you for not embarrassing me in public. I still love you." I didn't reply. 2 weeks later, she escalated. My neighbor buzzed my apartment one evening. "There's someone at your door." Says her name's Chloe. I opened the door, and there she was, clutching a duffel bag, eyes swollen from crying. "Please," she whispered. "Just one night. I don't have anywhere else to go." Every part of me screamed to shut the door, yet my chest tightened at the sight of her like that. I almost broke. Almost. But instead, I called Susan. She arrived within minutes, arms crossed, her voice sharp. "You need to leave, Chloe. Now." Chloe begged, pleaded, cried. Susan didn't flinch. Eventually, Chloe turned, shoulders slumped, and walked away into the night. I shut the door, collapsed on the couch, and felt both guilt and relief wash over me. Because the truth was brutal, her downfall wasn't mine to fix. Closure doesn't always come from an apology or reconciliation. Sometimes it comes quietly, in an email, a nod across a cafe, and the realization that you've already moved on. After Susan escorted Chloe away that night, I braced myself for the storm. I expected more emails, more flowers left on my desk, more desperate messages from hidden numbers. I prepared to tighten my defenses, certain she would try again. But she didn't. For the first time in months, she disappeared. No calls, no knocks at my door, just silence. At first, the silence felt eerie, like waiting for the next shoe to drop. But over the following weeks, I began to breathe again. I woke up without dreading another confrontation. I went running without glancing over my shoulder. The constant tension that had lived in my chest for nearly a year began to ease. Then, one afternoon, I opened my inbox and froze. The subject line read, "Thank you." It was from Chloe. I hesitated before opening it. Part of me feared it would be another plea. But when I finally clicked, what I read surprised me. The email wasn't begging. It wasn't manipulative. It was different. She told me she had finally landed a steady job at a small marketing firm. The pay wasn't glamorous, but it was consistent. She'd moved into a modest studio apartment. She was still in therapy. She had cut back on drinking, was focusing on rebuilding her routines. Then she wrote, "I ruined the best relationship of my life because I didn't value it until it was gone. I don't expect forgiveness, and I don't expect another chance. I just want you to know that I finally see what I did, and I'm trying to face it." For a long time, I just stared at the screen. I didn't respond, but something inside me shifted. For the first time, I didn't feel anger or pity or the urge to reply. I just felt free. A few weeks later, fate decided to test me. I was at a cafe near my office, laptop open, lost in work. When I looked up, Chloe was there, in line for coffee. She looked different than the last time I saw her. Healthier. Her hair was brushed, her clothes simple but neat. She didn't have the hollow, frantic look she'd carried before. Our eyes met. She didn't move toward me. She didn't smile, cry, or mouth words. She just gave a small nod, quiet and respectful. And I nodded back. That was it. No speeches, no begging, no false promises. Just acknowledgement, and then distance again. And somehow, that was exactly what I needed. Walking back to work afterward, I realized something important. Closure had never been about her words. It wasn't about apologies or second chances or even hearing her admit her mistakes. Closure was about me choosing myself. By refusing to take her back, by holding my boundaries, I had given myself something she never could, peace. Final reflection. Looking back now, I see Chloe's betrayal as a turning point. It shattered me, yes. It forced me to face loneliness, anger, heartbreak, but it also stripped away illusions. Her downfall taught me a lesson I'll carry for life. I am not responsible for saving the people who hurt me. She eventually found her way, on her own, without me as her safety net. And I found mine, stronger, clearer, more determined to build a future without lies. Not every broken thing has to be fixed. Not every person who falls needs you to catch them. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is to walk away. Closure came not from reconciliation, but from silence, from distance, and from the quiet nod of two people who had finally accepted the end. And when I walked out of that cafe, I knew with absolute certainty it was truly over.